Lance and Rick fight about stuff.
Rick, do you think Trump should release his tax papers?
Yeah,
Why?
because it may show all sorts of foreign entanglement. There are all sorts of rumors swirling around that he took out loans from Russian banks on easy terms, and who knows what else is going on. And everybody since, I forget who, Carter, Nixon, I don't know, for the past 50 years, every president has been transparent about his taxes.
Okay. Should I respond?
Sure, why not?
I gotta hand it to you. You have no idea of the meaning of the word hypocrisy. We're now practically at war with Russia over Trump bombing Syria, and you're claiming that he's a Soviet, that he's a Russian dupe, a Russian spy, or has ties to Russia.
Well, hold on. If he isn't, then just fucking release the taxes. Really?
It's none of your business. There's no law. This is nothing that in the Constitution that says he has to.
And there's no law that says we can't just keep giving him shit
You
about
can
not
ask
releasing.
him all you want. My point is this: you should be ashamed of yourself. 3 weeks ago, you were telling me that Trump was working for Russia, and you imagined that there was some kind of evidence. And now we're at the worst relations with Russia in history, in the past 20 years, because Trump's opposing them in the Middle East. Can't you learn? Are you not capable of learning from your mistakes?
Are you going to discount all the ties to Russia?
There were none, Rick. When? Give me an example.
You've got 3 investigations going on. You got Comey's investigation, you got the House investigation.
Yeah, did they come up with anything?
They're in the middle. It took 1.5 years to work to investigate Watergate. They've been investigating Trump for not 1.5 years.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. There isn't anything because there isn't anything.
Well,
it's a dirty Democrat trick. He has no ties to Russia. We're going to have...
But you've got Manafort registering as a foreign agent. You got Carter Page. You got all his people who've got all their fingers in...
A foreign agent with who?
Registering with the U.S. as a foreign agent.
For Russia?
Because of his relationship with people from Russia or Ukraine. I don't know the whole story, but he's registering as a representative of foreign interests.
Okay, well, let me put it to you this way. There are no ties that Trump has to Russia.
Just because you say it's not so doesn't make it not so.
But you haven't given me any ties. Manafort is registered as a foreign agent with who? You don't even know. The Ukraine or Russia. They're at war with one another.
Yeah, well, let's let the investigations play out.
Well, why don't we shut our mouths until that happens?
Man,
why don't we just instead of smearing the guy, why don't we just say, you know what? I don't know a goddamn thing about whether Trump.
All right, let's say this: Trump has always had sketchy business practices.
So what? Besides, I do know that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama gave Russia the Ukraine. If anybody has ties with Russia, it's Hillary Clinton giving Russia 20% of our uranium
I don't
supplies.
see her being president, and that 20% has been horseshit.
No, it isn't. It is 20%.
It's 20%. 9 government agencies signed off on that.
Yeah.
It's 20% of 8% of our uranium supply, and I don't know what the reciprocity was, but it's 1.6%.
Okay.
It's not 20% of our uranium.
It wound up being 20% of the supply we had that year, I believe. And I'm sorry, but
go on Snopes and read the full debunking of that.
It hasn't been debunked. She sold him uranium.
Snopes.com.
Okay, it hasn't been debunked.
It wasn't Hillary alone. It was Hillary and 8 other federal agencies, and it wasn't 20% of our fucking uranium. Snopes.com.
I have sources that say that it was 20%, but even if put it this way, we can argue about the percentage, but under a responsible administration like the Nixon or the Johnson or the Kennedy administration, the Truman administration, we would not be selling a material you can make nuclear bombs with to Russia, even if it's 1%. Why do they get any of it?
You don't know the full story, and neither do
No,
I.
I do know. I read it. She sold.
Yeah, but you're saying 20% when that is a bullshit number.
No, and you know how the deal was made is that she was accepting 3 months after the deal was made. She got a massive donation of something like $20
9
million.
federal agencies, 8 of which she had nothing to do with as Secretary of State,
Right.
signed off on this transaction.
And
Which
she-
wasn't as simple as selling Russia 20% of our uranium. It's 1.6% of the uranium we use. We must have gotten something back in return.
Yeah, the Clinton administration got millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars.
The
in
Clinton
bribes.
administration.
The Clinton Foundation, 3 months after the deal was made. So they got millions of dollars worth of
If
bribes.
you're listening
But
to
wait a
this video, if you're watching this video, go to Snopes.com under Clinton uranium, and the whole thing will be explained in a less deceptive way than you are trying to lay it out.
No, there's nothing deceptive. Let me explain.
Snopes.com,
Let me
the
explain.
debunking people.
Okay, what happened was this. Clinton agreed to sell uranium to a Canadian company. But the Canadian company had a huge percentage of their stock owned by Russians. Then after the deal was made, the Russians took over the whole company.
Wait, Clinton agreed to sell. No, Clinton was one of 9.
But she's the one in charge. She's the Secretary
She's not.
of State.
8 other federal agencies had to sign off. She
I know,
wasn't
but
the
she was
boss
in
of.
charge. Yes,
she
she
wasn't
was.
the boss of 8 other federal agencies.
Yes,
No,
she is.
she's not.
Secretary of State is above them. It needs for
She
approval.
didn't tell them to approve it. Everybody.
Rick, if you're the Secretary of State, you're above the Secretary of Interior. You could tell them what to do. You can say, I'm sorry, this is too dangerous for our country. We can't do it. She's number 4 in line for the
Snopes.
presidency. Secretary of State has the power to say no to the deal. But beyond that, let's get away from that for a second, because what about letting the Russians invade and take over the Ukraine? You think that shows that Obama was strong against Russia? Hell, if I loved Russia, I would let them take over the Ukraine, which is what he did. You're talking about a guy that may have money from a deal that he may have made with Russian oligarchs,
Well, let's
maybe,
see, because
but
there
there's no
are
evidence.
3 ongoing investigations
and
of the
I'm
president
talking about,
and
I
his
don't
people.
Need, and I'm talking about I don't need an investigation. The Russians invaded the Ukraine. They took over the Crimea.
Some huge
under
percentage
Barack
of the
Obama.
American people want Trump and his people's relationship to Russia to continue to be investigated.
That's fine, Rick. You investigate all you want. I'm sure you're going to find something wonderful. And that's why we're right now in the Middle East almost at war with Russia. Because Trump will do anything for Putin. He'll sell out our country.
Let's just find out what's going on.